take a little time and look at Mary, the Ark of the New Covenant. I really can't let these two passages go, David dancing before the Ark and Mary's visitation, without pointing out that there really are curious similarities between them, and that is not accidental. Who's heard this lecture before? Oh, okay. It seems that Luke was drawing heavily from 2 Samuel when he wrote this part of his gospel. Luke wants to show that Jesus is the new covenant and that Mary is the ark of the new covenant. And he does this by drawing from that David story especially. It's fun to see how he does this. Let's take a look. The story begins, both Mary and the Ark of the Covenant come to the hill country of Judea. In the David story, the ark stays at the house of Obed-Edom for 3 months. It is then brought into Jerusalem, where eventually the temple is built for it. Mary stays in the house of Elizabeth for 3 months. After Jesus is born in Bethlehem, the city of David, he is brought into Jerusalem to be presented at the temple. When the Israelites mishandle the Ark of the Covenant on the way into town, and one of them dies, David recognizes the presence of the Lord, and he's frightened, and he says, "Who am I that the Ark of my Lord should come to me?" When Mary, the Ark of the New Covenant, arrives at the house of Elizabeth, Elizabeth recognizes the presence of the Lord. She is overjoyed and says, "Who am I that the mother of my Lord should come to me?" When the ark was brought into Jerusalem, David leaped and danced for joy, and along with the crowd, shouted praises to God and sang. When Mary came to the house of Elizabeth, John the Baptist leaped for joy, Elizabeth shouted praise, and Mary sang. Luke also makes some deliberate parallels between Mary and the ark in some other ways. Back in the book of Exodus, the Ark of the Covenant was made holy when it was overshadowed by the Holy Spirit. This is the only time that phrase, overshadowed by the Holy Spirit, was used in the Greek Old Testament that Luke would have been familiar with, the Septuagint. Similarly, Jesus is conceived in the womb of Mary when she is overshadowed by the Holy Spirit. The Ark of the Covenant contained the 10 Commandments, the Old Covenant, Aaron's priestly rod that blossomed, and a jar of manna. What does the Ark of the New Covenant contain? Mary's womb contains the New Covenant, the new great high priest, the bread of life. A number of the early church fathers wrote about these parallels and what they mean for our faith, that Jesus himself is the new covenant, the one who makes everlasting peace between us and the Father, and that Mary is the Ark of the New Covenant, full of grace and worthy of the greatest reverence.